This year is almost over, and I was tagged by Elizabeth from Elizabeth Book Babel to do this tag, and it is called 2014 book tag. So it is all about all of these books that we read in this year. So I can't say last year because it is still 2014, but in this year I'm going to link the Elizabeth's video as well as the original video, original tag in the description box. So let's get started. First question is, what was your favorite book published in 2014? And for this one I really have to choose Bloodline's book that came out this year. That was Silver Shadows by Richelle Mead. And if you didn't know, Vampire Academy is one of my favorites young adult series, and I really loved Bloodline series as well, and I really love this book. Lots of love, lots of love. So I really liked the 5th book, and I can't wait for the 6th and the final book to come out, but I'm also a bit sad because we're not going to hang out with these characters any longer. But so the second book, not the second book, second question is, pick a book you read this year that had great characterization. It's hard to pronounce that word, I know. For this one I really wanted to choose Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, and I really love this book, and some people say that it is some kind of young adult Song of Ice and Fire. I don't really think that those are that similar, but I did like the first 2 books, and I'm going to reread them soon and read the 3rd book, and I really think that all of the characters in these books were really well done, so here you go. The 3rd question. Speaking of characters, who is your favorite character? I don't know what is wrong with me today. Speaking of characters, who is your favorite character from the books you've read this year? For this one I really have to choose Warner from the Shattermate trilogy. I read Ignite Me this year, which is the final book in the trilogy, and I had to choose him because I really like when some character is not so good at the beginning, but as the series progresses he starts to change, and then he is a different person at the end, and we see all the reasons behind the change. And this is something that I really loved. So he's my favorite character. And he's also handsome. You know, Warner. I love Warner. Who is your least favorite character from the books you read this year? I really shouldn't say this, I know. But I read Looking for Alaska this year, and I really hated Alaska. I didn't really enjoy the book as much as I thought I would, and I didn't really like Alaska, and I think that she was my least favorite character this year. So next question is, pick a book you read this year that had a shocking plot twist, and this is the book I've recently finished. I read it in November, I had it in my November wrap-up, and that is The Mortal Heart by Robin Lefevre, and there are 2 plot twists in this book. I did guess one. I almost always guess plot twists, and I really hate that, but I didn't really guess the second plot twist, so I had to choose this book because it is great. Name a great author or multiple authors you discovered this year. I discovered Jenny Han, and she became my favorite contemporary young adult author. Then I discovered Morgan Rhodes and her Falling Kingdom series, which I really enjoyed. Then who else? I discovered Chloe Neal, who wrote the Chicagoland Vampire series. I read the whole Chicagoland Vampires series this year, so all the books that have been published, and I really love them. Those are urban fantasy books. If you love urban fantasy, you would definitely enjoy that. And I love vampires, you know. And I think those would be the authors that I discovered. And there are a lot of great authors that I knew from the previous years, but I read them and I really loved their books. So yeah. Then, what books made you cry? No, that's not the next question. What book that was really hyped up in 2014 do you think met the hype? Well, I read The City of Heavenly Fire, the last book of the Mortal Instruments, and I was really happy how the series ended, so I think that it was worth the hype. And I'm not sure if this could be called really hyped book, but I really loved The Young Elites by Marie Lu. She wrote the Legend trilogy. Young Elites by Marie Lu. I really love this book and I can't wait for the sequel. And The Iron Trial by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare was also great, so you should check those books out. You should read them. Did you see any book-to-movie adaptations this year? If so, what was your favorite? Well, I did see some book-to-movie adaptations this year and I had a few favorites. So I really loved The Divergent, I really loved The Maze Runner, and I really loved The Mockingjay Part 1. It was great. So I think that Mockingjay was my favorite. I really enjoyed that book-to-movie adaptation. What book made you cry the most? I don't really cry while reading, so I can't really remember. Some of the books make me sad, but I don't really cry. What is the funniest book you read this year? A lot of Jennifer L. Armentrout books are funny, so there are some snarky remarks between the characters and I really loved that. So I would say White Hot Kiss and Stone Cold Touch by Jennifer L. Armentrout, but also City of Heavenly Fire, because Cassandra Clare does have some funny moments in her books. Am I right? I think that I am. Did you set a reading goal for yourself? If so, did you meet it? And how many books did you read this year in total? So I did set a reading goal. I set myself reading goal to read 100 books. It is 100 book Goodreads challenge, but I wanted to read 100 new books and I managed to do it. So this month I completed my Goodreads challenge, so I read 102 books so far. 102 books, and I am really pleased with myself. So that's it. What are you planning to do differently or better as a reader in 2015? I don't think that I could do any better than this. I would really be pleased with myself if I read 100 books again. But the only thing that I would like to change is to read some of the books that I have already read. So my plans are to reread some of the books that I've already read. And I'm really looking forward to doing so, because I really loved some of these books. And I'm probably going to start with Fallen Kingdom series and Lux by Jennifer L. Armentrout, because I have to reread some of the books to remember some things, and then to read the last book or one of the books in the series that has been published, and you know, things like that. But I'm really looking forward to doing so. And the last question is, what is the best book you read this year? I can't really pick the best book. I'm going to leave the link to all the books that I've read in this year, all the books that I read this year, so you can see what are all those 100 books and you can see how many stars I gave them. I can't really decide which book was my favorite, and that would be it for my tag. I'm not sure if I'm going to tag someone or not. If I am, then their names are going to be in the description below, and I really hope that you enjoyed my answers and my version of this tag and things like that. And if you did, thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll see you in some of my next videos.